AVAIYA has changed my life.
AVAIYA has made me the woman I am today.
AVAIYA is my home.
AVAIYA is personal freedom.
AVAIYA is the reason my life continuously improves.
Let everyone in your life know about AVAIYA.
Everyone needs to know about this amazing company.
Thank you, AVAIYA, for appearing in my inbox.
What Ike Allen and Andy Anderson have created at AVAIYA is what the world needs.
Hello, AVAIYA family. I'm Andy Anderson. My partner, Ike Allen, and I are teachers, mentors, and the co-owners of AVAIYA University. AVAIYA is the creator of over 1,000 books, films, courses, teachings, and other supportive resources. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Our fellow teacher, Kyle Benson, is back with us today to talk about healing from betrayals in relationships, big or small. Kyle is a relationship nerd who provides practical, research-based tools to build long-lasting, intimate relationships. He's best known for his compassion and non-judgmental style and his capacity to see the root problem. Welcome back to AVAIYA, Kyle.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to see you as always. So I like that we're going to talk about betrayals today, and we're going to talk about big and small, right? We're talking about various kinds of betrayals. So why not we get started with you talking about how do you define betrayals?
Yeah, the way I would define betrayals, I mean, it's really kind of feeling trust being broken, right? Whether that trust is breaking the agreed upon agreement of being monogamous and having a relationship where you're exclusive with one another, whether that's emotional, sexual in any way with that, which is typically how a lot of people see betrayal, to even kind of betrayals that are kind of more small, right? Not being there for me, humiliating me in front of kind of friends or family, teaming up with someone else against me. Those are also kind of betrayals that really impact that bond that you have with your intimate partner. And so those are kind of how I would define betrayals, whether that's kind of infidelity all the way to just kind of even teaming up against someone else against you.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yes. Yeah, I think absolutely. I think so many of us, when we hear the word betrayal as it relates to like a romantic partnership, I think a lot of people think about that infidelity, but absolutely there can be so many other things that might add up to such a big betrayal, or just lots of different things that can happen in day-to-day life that could be considered betrayals. So if a couple has experienced a betrayal in some way, shape, or form, what do you think keeps couples stuck from healing from that betrayal?
I think the really what I see is they kind of get stuck in a pattern where the person who's betrayed either does two things. They start to really kind of highlight the betrayal. Sometimes that betrayal can be so severe that it'll actually, like from what we know from research with infidelity, they can actually develop like PTSD. And so they can have, because it is a traumatic instance, when that attachment bond that's really special that gets ruptured and you can't trust the person you're in love with and you care about, that does a lot to not only our body but also our psyche. And so what keeps couples stuck is sometimes partners will just continue to talk about that stuff and bring it up and bring it up, and every time they bring it up, the person who was hurt by the betrayal, the other person tends to defend themselves. Right, I'm not such a bad partner, right? I've only done that once. Or they start to cross blame and say, well, you weren't there, we haven't been being intimate, or you didn't speak up. And all of a sudden we're kind of having this fight of like, okay, I'm hurt, but I'm not such a bad partner. And they just get into an argument that leaves both partners feeling really unheard and unseen. And it causes them to get stuck with this betrayal between them without it ever being repaired. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And so do you believe, I would imagine, I know the answer to this, but like, do you believe in your work that it is possible to fully heal from a betrayal in a partnership?
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. We actually did, the government actually is doing some research with a doctoral student at Florida Atlantic University. And we just did some of our pilot study analysis. And she found that there was significant improvement in trust and also even sexual satisfaction in the relationship after affairs. And so it is really possible to heal from betrayals. And even Dr. John Gottman talks about how like he saw a couple where a partner had reoccurring affairs and they were still able to work through it and actually not, even in a follow-up, not have any further betrayals. And so I definitely think whether it's the big betrayals or even the small betrayals, such as not being there for your partner around something really important, those things can definitely be worked through. What it comes down to is really understanding why we get stuck from healing and what gets in the way from really being there, and listening to particularly the partner who's hurt, their pain. Right. Because that's where I find that couples get most stuck, is as that partner starts to talk about that pain. You weren't there for me, or, I thought we had this great life and I found out you have a secret life, or, you weren't there for me when your mom teamed up and said, I'm the worst person in the world. You just kept quiet and you left me to be just hurt and humiliated in front of everyone at Thanksgiving. Right. Those moments are so painful. And when that partner starts to talk about that pain, if that other partner becomes defensive, dismissive, or even ignores it and shuts down, it just leaves that hurt like an open gaping wound that doesn't get tended to. And so that's kind of the big stuff in this work, where really kind of a therapist can be really helpful in starting to slow that process down and being able to help the partner who's been so hurt actually verbalize it and share their hurt in hopefully a way that the partner can start to actually sit with. That's often the biggest block to really starting to work through healing. And then when they can actually sit with that hurt, that's where the other partner, right, can start to empathize and see, wow, like I really did hurt you. Right. And that's hard to sit in. It's hard to sit in how you hurt your partner, how they have been so injured by a choice you made or a choice you didn't take action on. Right. And so that also becomes a really tough point where I find partners the person who might have caused the betrayal, they become defensive, or they shut down, or they'll want to walk out of the room because they feel so much shame and guilt about how much they hurt the person they care about. And so to be able to also hold that person and go like, yeah, I get it. Like, of course you're in a lot of pain. To actually see the impact of that betrayal on your partner and really hear about the pain, to sit in that pain and know that you're the one that influenced that, is really hard to do. Right. And so that is what gets people really stuck, that area. But when they're able to start to sit in that and tolerate how painful it is and empathize with their partner's pain, all of a sudden they start to kind of grow a little bit closer to each other, because the person who was hurt goes, you see me. You actually see how this hurt me and you get it. Right. If I can trust you can get it, that's going to soften me a little bit, that maybe we can work through this. Maybe we can do something different. Maybe we can repair this. And so that's really kind of that first stage of the work, is really kind of being able to see how the partner was hurt, being able to apologize and own the choices I made if I was a person who betrayed, and really kind of highlighting how the person who was hurt, how important they are as your partner. And so that's kind of that initial process of healing. And then from there comes the action plan, right? It can't just be, I'm sorry. It has to follow through of, yeah, I'm going to work on speaking up to my mom and never let that happen to you again. Or, yeah, you can have access to my phone. I'm going to be fully transparent. I'm going to give you access to where I go because I want to earn your trust back. And those things, those action steps to really rebuild trust, repair it, is what starts to pave the road for healing.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned many things, but yes, that first step being that sitting in that pain, right, for not only the person who has been betrayed, but also the person who has done the betraying, and being able to actually feel that. Because I can imagine, right, both sides often don't want to feel that. And, if we've been hurt, we don't necessarily want to keep feeling terrible, and if we've hurt someone, we don't want to feel that we hurt them. So yes, absolutely. And then moving on to the action steps, I think that's so important too, because then, right, those kinds of behaviors can show us, right, commitment or recommitment or repair in the relationship. So I'm curious, like, let's go back to the infidelity type of betrayal just for a minute. And just out of your experience in working with couples, if someone is watching right now and they've had this happen, and they might have a hard time knowing if they should stay or go, if they should should they try to heal this? Should they leave? What do they want to do? Do you have any, I know everybody's different. We all have different stories and different paths, but any like suggestions for those people who aren't quite sure how to move forward in that?
I mean, I think it depends on which partner it is. Right. If we're dealing with infidelity, if it's the hurt partner, right, really your key takeaway is this an injury that has been so painful that you can't imagine being with this person anymore? Right. And as the injured partner, you get to decide what is true for you. And so that's really what you got to sit with as the injured partner of am I willing to actually open myself up to being able to heal this? Or has this hurt me so much that I put up a wall and I can no longer extend any grace to this person and no longer open myself up to any possible hurt? Because that's the risk in repair, right? If you've done it once, I'm terrified you're going to do it again, right? Some partners don't, some partners do. And so that's a really important part. You have to be willing to open yourself up as the injured partner to repairing trust. And if you're not, and you sit with, I'm not going to, I can't, then the best option is to walk away. Because just sitting in that limbo of fully guarded and never wanting to open up again, and yet just being with your partner just because you don't want to quite leave, that you're going to stay stuck there. And that's kind of the hard thing with working with an injured partner is they have a choice in their part of the work, right? And so that's a big thing. The second thing with kind of particularly with infidelity is the other partner who did the betrayal is deciding if they want to work on that. One of the things that becomes really interesting in terms of infidelity is if there is a sexual or emotional betrayal, they tend to have this honeymoon image of the affair partner. And then their other partner gets put in this really negative light. And so working with that, they might have to grieve some of that loss and actually choose to fully cut off that relationship so they can actually work on repairing that bond. And so that's a choice they have to make. And some people won't. Some people don't. And if you're an injured partner and you're wanting to work on it and your partner is not willing to cut off a relationship with someone else who's hurt you and they made that choice to be with that person, then that might be a signal that this is not going to work going forward. Yeah. And so those are some, you had a question?
Oh yeah. I was going to respond to what you said. I love that you, first of all, you said both sides, right? So we're talking about a partnership. We're talking about two different people, and their choices moving forward, and going back to the person who has been hurt. I definitely think that, right, like you said, it's a lot of people get stuck in the point of being so hurt that they're closed off, and yet they might stay with that person, but then their relationship is not really a relationship anymore, right? And I could see people I know in my life that have lived that way for a long time. So yeah, it's interesting to, be aware of that. So, okay. After a betrayal, whatever kind, what do you think is needed to make that relationship secure?